struck out, popped up, flied to left, 0 for 3. Uribe trying to bird dog Sutcliffe and cut down his lead. There's the bunt, and it's great catch by Clark, and he throws it over Uribe's glove, and Sutcliffe is going to go to third anyway. So there was the bunt we were looking for. A great catch by Clark, but just try to throw a ball sitting down. Also, to complicate matters, Sutcliffe, trying to go 2 ways at once, hurt himself.
Great play by Will Clark and a good throw to second base. Jose Uribe just went off the back of his glove. What a fine anticipation play. The glove ball there, Uribe just took his eye off the ball. That was very catchable. Sutcliffe's leg was a little bit tender when he pulled into second base after the double. Zim will come out and check him out.
Indeed, because if there's a fly ball, he has to know whether he has a sound runner at third to tag up. And you have Ryne Sandberg, the batter. That was a rather remarkable throw by Will Clark, sitting on the grass, split like a pair of scissors, and threw it accurately enough. The difference is Uribe wanted to make the double play so badly, he couldn't afford to get off the bag to catch the ball that was just slightly off mark. And we are going to have a runner for Sutcliffe.
Greg Maddux is going to run. Pitcher for pitcher. You take another look at the double play at second base, the attempt of the double play. Jose Uribe should have caught that. That was a makeable double play, no question.
Error charge to Uribe.
How often do you see this? Pitcher for pitcher as a pinch runner. Maddux, a good athlete, a good hitter, a good base runner. Not the first time this season that Zim has used him in a pinch run situation.
So both starting pitchers hurt themselves. Mike Lacoste hurts his knee on a bunt. Rick Sutcliffe injures his knee and comes out for Maddux. Ryne Sandberg is the batter, and the Giants, of course, play the infield up. Sandberg, during the regular year, had 2 scoring fly balls. Fouled away. Paul Assenmacher throwing in the Chicago bullpen. Craig Lefferts in the Giant pen.
Sandberg struck out 85 times during the regular season. But with Robinson on the mound, the sore right leg, you would doubt he'd be able to get a strikeout here. The infield playing in certainly to cut off the run.
No balls and 1 strike to Ryne Sandberg. Breaking ball fouled away. With Robinson, he'll throw you just about everything. Fastball, slider, curve. He has a splitter, and he even throws a cut fastball.
Here you see on the slow-mo the breaking ball. That's the curveball down and away. Every time Sandberg has had a good swing, a good hack at the ball, it's been on the fastball. His weakest swings have come against the breaking ball.
0-2. Maddux at third, 1 out, 3-3 in the 7th. Breaking ball fouled away. Don Robinson, had it not been for the bad right knee, would have figured even more prominently in the Giant plans the last month of the season, as well as going into the LCS. Now with Lacoste hurting, Robinson questionable, Sutcliffe hurting, the pitching on each side gets thinner and thinner. Down in the bullpen, Lefferts testing his left shoulder that bothered him. 0-2 to Sandberg. 1 out. Fastball, and he hit it to straightaway center, and that's plenty deep to get the run in. Maddux tags. Here he comes. Butler's desperate throw, not in time. You a little surprised, 0-2 fastball?
Oh, aren't I? 2 real bad swings against the breaking ball, just defensive. Sandberg was lucky to foul it off. Talked about Sandberg the entire series being a good fastball hitter. be it on the inside part of the plate or the outside part of the plate. It makes no difference. Every good swing he has had has been against the fastball. I think Robinson wanted to get it in off the plate, didn't even want him to swing at it and then try to strike him out with a breaking ball away. He just did not get it in.
Ground ball to the right side. Robbie Thompson will take care of Dwight Smith, but the Cubs get a run in the 7th. At the end of 6½, Cubs 4, Giants 3, and Sutcliffe will call it a night.
It's the right beer now,
but not now.
It's the right beer now.
Definitely not now.
Coors Light, it's the right beer now.
And absolutely, positively not now. No way.
Hey, Dave, let me give you a ride home.
Well, what'd he say?
He said, Kirkwood, you're smart, you're aggressive, you're brilliant, creative, aggressive, brilliant.
He said all that, did he?
Well, something to that effect.
Come on, what else?
Stock, sign-on bonus, company car. Of course, I'm gonna turn it down.
The job?
The car.
The Legend sedan from Acura. #1 in customer satisfaction. 3 years in a row.
Wait, stop! Don't you know they're coming? Wait now! Stop! Doesn't anyone believe me?
You hear that, fellas? Dinosaurs are coming to this town.
They're already here.
Dinosaur stamps. They're exciting. They're history. They're at your post office now.
Now, do you believe me?
Glad to be in America, back in the good old USA. I've been missing my baby, the sweet green earth, and a pure simple meal made America's way.
A lean quarter pounder hot off the grill with crispy golden fries.
America's meat and potatoes.
I'm home.
That's McDonald's.
Next Saturday.
Beautiful woman. Whoever a psycho is stalking.
Oh, my God.
There's only one way to stop it. Be the new man in life. I'm his next target.
Under the season premiere.
This is the throw by Will Clark that got away from Uribe. Now watch the right leg of Sutcliffe as it skids over the bag. He did a split, turned now and staggered over to third, lifted for a pinch runner. The Cubs were worried about him, and Maddox carried over the go-ahead run. And Sutcliffe now heading for the dressing room.
He was limping when he went into second base on the double, as if he had strained something going around first when he was heading for second. It looked to me like it was the left hamstring. A long walk from the dugout down to the bullpen.
Donnell Nixon bunting foul off to the right of the plate, and the count 0-1 against Paul Ossenmacher. So Nixon, who came in the 2-for-1 switch with Don Robinson, coming up.
One of the great indignities of this ballpark, and we heard Mike Schmidt talk about the visitor dugout before the game. A long way from the visitor's dugout all the way down to the San Francisco Giant bullpen, which is adjacent to the door which leads to the locker rooms. And there is no other way for a visiting player to get there other than walk across the field. And when you get knocked out of a game here, not that Sutcliffe got knocked out, but like if you're taken out in the middle of an inning and head for the clubhouse, ooh, you stand a chance of getting some severe San Francisco boos. And no place to hide.
1 ball and 1 strike. Donnell Nixon opening up matters, bottom of the 7th inning. And he lifts one into left center. Smith on the run. One-hands it. That's a kid they said was a shaky outfielder, but he has improved each week in the National League. Dwight Smith. Tough chance on that ball hit by Donnell Nixon.
Chicago Cubs are going to probably end up 1-2 in Rookies of the Year this year. Great play by Smith. Jerome Walton, his partner in center, will probably win the Rookie of the Year award, but Don Zimmer and the entire Cub organization, when they had so many injuries early in the year to their outfield, their entire starting outfield was gone. They had to go to the minor leagues for help. And these two young men came in and fielded beautifully.
Ball one to Brett Butler. We have also gone through that dangerous time for the outfielders. The lights now taking full effect. Night has fallen here in the San Francisco area, so the outfield is getting much better jumps. 2-0. And still not a breeze, not a breath. Absolutely ideal condition. So the much maligned Candlestick Park has dressed for dinner tonight. Line drive, base hit, and the tying run is aboard. We just have a moment before we get to more excitement here. A reminder, the American League Championship Series tomorrow. Oakland and Toronto, Game 5, 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And then it'll be Game 4. The Cubs and the Giants at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Time on the field. Time called. Mark Grace gesturing and pointing, and now Joe Girardi going to the mound to talk to Paul Assenmacher. Robbie Thompson will be the batter. Thompson has singled a short, struck out, and fouled out to third.
They're just making sure which way Assenmacher is going to go to second base. Is he going to go to Dunston or Sandberg, depending on who's covering? Sandberg says, I will be at second if the ball's hit back to you.
Luis Salazar is right at the bag at third, and they have opened up the left side of the infield. Always, baseball men will argue, when you get late in the game, do you guard the foul line against the extra base hit and then give the hitter the opportunity for the base hit? The Cubs have gone for guarding the line.
Butler about 500 against left-handers stealing bases. 8 out of 15. 31 on the season.
Assenmacher kind of rears back before he makes his throw to first, like a horse that has just spotted a snake. That head really flies back, and he goes upright and then bends backwards towards third. It looks like Butler's able to read that unless it's a decoy. Fastball. Watch this delivery by Paul Assenmacher. Looks in, whoop, and then he'll go over there. Then when he comes to the plate, he doesn't do that. Don Zimmer now is going out, down in the bullpen. Mitch Williams and Les Lancaster. Now, maybe Zimmer has studied a calculator. If he has, he finds out that Robbie Thompson has 6 hits in 6 career at-bats against Paul Assenmacher. So Assenmacher comes out, and Les Lancaster comes in. 4-3 Cubs, bottom of the 7th. The Giants with the tying run aboard.
Build and shape our future, we invite you to learn the technology of tomorrow while you serve your country in the Navy of today.
Liberty Mutual presents The Automobile Accident That Never Happened, because we continually work to prevent auto accidents and injuries. In helping to pioneer safety belts, Liberty Mutual Insurance helped make driving safer for everyone. Caring for people is why America believes in liberty.
Almost home. America believes in liberty. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Some people see shaving as something you do for 3 minutes a day. At Braun, we see it as something you do for a lifetime. And we think you should make the best of it. The Braun Shaver, with its 3 shaving positions. Designed for those who choose to make a virtue out of necessity. Braun, the world's #1 selling foil shaver.
What's the difference? It takes too long to learn to use a computer.
Wrong. Deskmate makes the difference with graphics that guide you.
Learning new software is like starting over.
Not now. Deskmate uses the same plain English commands with different programs like load a spreadsheet for Deskmate.
A computer? I wouldn't know what to do.
Now you will. Deskmate makes the difference.
Deskmate is simple.
It's PC compatible.
Deskmate is even easier on Tandy computers.
The friendly face in the PC crowd at Radio Shack and participating dealers.
Bottom of the 7th inning, 4-3 Cubs. The last time Les Lancaster pitched to Robbie Thompson. Robbie Thompson hit a home run against him in the 9th inning of Game 2 at Wrigley Field. Lancaster now trying to tie up Butler, and he'll have his hands full with Thompson.
Different situation. That was a 3-2 pitch. Big lead, threw it right down the middle of the plate. Thompson just hit it out.
He gave up 3 runs and 4 hits in the Mike Bielecki game, and he relieved Assenmacher, as he's doing now.
Mitch Williams still standing up in the bullpen for the Chicago Cubs. You wonder if Zim is bringing Lancaster in for just 1 hitter, and then bring Williams in to face Will Clark, maybe to close it for the Cubs. Awfully early to bring Williams in. He's not pitched in the series, though. Thought he was going to get in for an inning, if not an inning, for at least a hitter in game number 2 in Chicago. But we still haven't seen Mitch in the ballgame yet.
2-0 the count to Robbie Thompson. Butler at first, 1 out in the 7th. Cubs 4, Giants 3. Butler's gone, and the ball is hit to deep left. Back goes Smith. Gone.
From Les Lancaster. This time a little bit on the inside part of the plate, and a line drive right out of here.
Brett Butler exulting, as does this crowd of over 62,000. And it is 5-4 Giants. Ball 1 to Will Clark. So the last 2 times that Les Lancaster has pitched to Robbie Thompson, Thompson has hit him for home runs. Now back. Robbie Thompson, who was originally scouted and sold to the Giants by Don Zimmer's son, Tom, has now come back to haunt Tom's dad. 1-1. Ground ball into left field.
More and more frustrating for Mitch Williams.
High foul off first. Grace trying to get under it. At the railing, reaches in, disappears. No play.
Here you see Grace going after the foul ball. Those are auxiliary boxes here at Candlestick Park. A lot of foul territory. That ball not even close to the playing field. If we were in Wrigley Field and had those seats not been there, those are temporary seats put in just for the playoffs, Grace would have had that ball.
A lot of gloves in there besides Marks.
There's somebody with a ball right there. It's not Mark Grace.
All right, Kevin Mitchell with the count 0-1. And he was helped by a fan. Let's see what he does with the help. Strike, 0-2. So in the inning with Ossenmacher pitching, Nixon robbed of a hit by Smith. Butler singled. They lifted Ossenmacher for Les Lancaster, who gives up a home run to Robbie Thompson and a single to Clark. Ball one. And they are going wild at Candlestick. The largest crowd ever to see a game here. 62,065. High pop fly. It'll be Sean Dunston. That's the second out in the inning. And it will bring up Matt Williams to look ahead. If you're not keeping score in the 8th inning, the Cubs will have Mark Grace, Andre Dawson, and Luis Salazar, with Sean Dunston batting 4th in the inning. Matt Williams hit back to the box, flied to center, flied to left, fouls it back. He's ticked at himself on that pitch. I think he feels he had a pitch he could handle, and he hit under it and fouled it back. That was the big fish that got away. 0-1.
Giants starting to get a little bit of run production out of spots other than 3 and 4 and 5 in their lineup. After the first couple of games, all but one of their RBIs have been out of those 3 spots.
1-1. Giants 5, Cubs 4. Bottom of the 7th inning, 2 out. Pop foul, out of play. 1-2.
We're talking about how the key about beating the Giants is keeping those number 1 and 2 guys off the bases, Butler and Thompson. You read across your scorecard, and you see Butler, Thompson, 4 for 8. 4 runs, 2 RBIs. Another good offensive night for the number 1 and 2 spots.
Wildly exciting game that saw the Cubs score 2, the Giants score 3, Cubs tie it in the 4th, Cubs take the lead in the 7th, and now the Giants lead in the 7th, 5-4. Breaking ball away, 2-2. Deuces wild on Matt Williams. Little nubber up the middle, right behind the bag. Sandberg toes it ahead of the sliding Clark. But Robbie Thompson is the man of the moment as he hits his 2nd home run against Lancaster, and the Giants lead 5-4.
You think you're better than me, don't you?
Oh, not again. I was better than you in high school. I was better than you in college. And I am better than you now.
There are still some people in this world who can change tax brackets without changing personalities.
You want to put that to a test?
Let's go.
Now?
Now.
For those people, there's a car called the Legend Coupe from Acura. Number 1 in customer satisfaction 3 years in a row.
Zucci, look a little pale. Maybe he needs a doctor or something. Maybe I do. What happened?
Hey, don't look at me. Because there's a man in Chicago planning his retirement this year. Because there's a family in Boston who hopes to send their kids to college someday. Because there's a doctor in New York looking forward to the day she'll open her own clinic. Because every investor is different, with dreams all their own. Dean Witter measures success, one investor at a time. Dean Witter, a member of the Sears Financial Network.
Introducing the Super Value Menu at Wendy's. Everything on it is at a special low price, like Biggie Drinks, Biggie Fries, Chili, and our delicious new Junior Bacon Cheeseburger. Come try the Super Value Menu at Wendy's.
If your car pulls to one side, let Midas check your alignment. At Midas, trained professionals with the latest technology align your car right. You see, we're serious about safety. Hey, nobody beats Midas. Nobody.
The Raiders seem to make more headlines than anyone in the NFL. I'm O.J. Simpson, and I'll take you inside Team Headlines, Sunday on NFL Live.
Les Lancaster gave up a 2-run home run to Matt Williams in the 8th inning of Game 2 and a 9th inning home run to Robbie Thompson in Game 2. Now he has been bitten again on the home run by Robbie Thompson in the 7th inning. So he's given up 3 home runs, and this one hurts him. The other 2 he got away with. He allowed only 2 home runs all year. And here's Mark Grace. And he hammers one to right. Donnell Nixon plays it on a bounce, and the Cubs come right back to put the tying run aboard. Well, we have pointed out throughout the series just how even these 2 teams are. And look at those 2, Mark Grace and Will Clark. A first-round draft choice, and the other pick like 274th.
24th round for Mark Grace. And 2 first basemen in that round ahead of him.
He finally went and played in the Alaska League. He played it with the North Pole Knicks, and that's when he started to play. You could say that's when his game thawed out or something. And here is Andre Dawson. Dawson 1 for 3. Got the base hit to drive in 2 in the 1st inning. Ball 1.
You wonder how a guy may not get drafted like that. Grace, a first baseman, really didn't show any power. And you would think that a first baseman, what you want to see out of him is somebody that has some pop. Somebody that can hit the ball out of the ballpark. I think there are a lot of clubs that take him right now just like he is. Don't you?
And he's hitting 4th. And he's had a walk, a single, and a double tonight. Dawson in 3 games has hit 1 ball out of the infield, but it was a winner. That was that single to drive in 2 runs in the 1st inning. Otherwise, the Hawk has been a dove so far.
Some talk about people asking Don Zimmer if he would take Dawson out of the lineup. He said there's no way. He's really the one guy in the lineup that can carry the Chicago club. The one guy that could go on a tear and hit a sequence of home runs and carry a club for a week. Admittedly, he has been cold so far in the first 3 games.
Behind Don Robinson in the Giant bullpen is Steve Bedrosian. So Bedrock heating up in case Robinson can't hold it. It's 5-4 Giants, top of the 8th. Line foul. Dawson checking the handle of the bat. So he turned quickly enough, but the bat didn't get around quickly enough.
A lot of talk around the cage the day before the game about the weights of bats the hitters use now. Joe Torre was talking about that he used to use a 36-ounce bat. Hitters today use 32, 33-ounce bats. Very small handles, very whippy. That's why you see a lot of broken bats that just shatter in half.
1-1. Curveball and a high fly ball to left field. Mitchell on the track to make the catch. Grace tagging to second. The throw. They got him.
You can see that the play even surprised Kevin Mitchell a little bit. Thompson had come away from the bag Take nothing away from Mark Grace. This is the way that Don Zimmer plays baseball. Let's not be afraid to make aggressive mistakes. Grace trying to get into scoring position. His club 1 run down against a fielder that is not known for having a good arm, a good percentage play. You must play aggressively. That's what Zimmer's done all year.
A strike to Salazar. Look how close it was. Maybe by a finger. And Thompson able to brand him just before he got to the bag. There's a drive to right. Nixon coming up to flag it, and it jumps out of his glove. I don't know whether Donnell lost that ball or whether it just squirted out like a piece of wet soap. But the crowd's stunned on that play.
Hopefully he hit him right on top of the head. Whether he lost it in the lights or simply misjudged it, closed the glove.
Yeah.
Oh, hit him on the wrist.
And he turned his arm.
Wrist. Yeah. He motioned in that he was okay. He just flat missed it.
Well, you realize now what kind of an inning this would have been had Grace been able to advance to second base. That becomes a tremendous play. Sean Dunston will be coming up as Donnell Nixon, unable to hold on to that drive for whatever reason. Louis Salazar coming out. They'll get a little more speed. Curtis Wilkerson will run for him. The way he raised his left elbow at the last second, it almost looked like he was ducking, as if maybe he lost it. But only Donnell could tell you. So Grace singles to right. Dawson hits a curveball deep. Grace tries to tag, and Mitchell throws him out. And then Nixon has trouble with the drive. And here is Sean Dunston. Dunston grounded out, singled, and grounded out again. He scored what was then the tying run on the wild pitch back in the 4th inning. 8th inning, Giants 5, Cubs 4. Fastball whacked into left field, base hit. I'll tell you what, Don Robinson got away cheaply on that curveball to Andre Dawson.
When he first hit it, I thought it was out.
He really got away with a bad breaking ball. Now he's got 2 on with 2 out.
He got the pitch up to Grace. Grace hit the ball hard. Dawson must have hit it just off the end of the bat. The ball that Salazar hit to right field, he hit decently, and there a fastball up. And Sean Dunston, who is a fastball hitter, line drive to left field. You wonder how long Roger's going to go with him. This has got to be a stall out here with Kennedy and Clark coming to the mound.
You know, the Giants had their hearts broken on a play in right field, Game 6 in the 1987 League Championship Series against the St. Louis Cardinals. Maybe you remember it. There was a battle between John Tudor and Dave Dravecki. A ball hit in the air to right field, and Maldonado came up and lost it, went into a slide, it went over his head, rolled all the way to the wall. The run came in, and the Cardinals won it 1-0. And Maldonado was victimized, but the run scored. Now Nixon has had trouble, but the run has not come over yet. Robinson has gone. Brett Butler counseling Nixon. And Craig Lefferts will come racing in to accept the challenge. Giants 5, Cubs 4.
Since ancient times, astronomers have defined an eclipse as a celestial body moving across the face of the sun. Mitsubishi defines an eclipse as a celestial body moving across the face of the Earth. For personal exhilaration, an eclipse can eclipse an eclipse.
You finally reach that great hidden beach. It doesn't get any better. The heat of the day, ooh, the cool of the spray. It doesn't get any better than this. There's only one law. Let the good times pour. You couldn't care less. Who could ask for more? It doesn't get any better.
Old Milwaukee Light.
It doesn't get any better than this.
There's a special breed of people who do battle day after day. Their arena, the business world. Their territory, the road. They are the Road Warriors.
Ray?
Ray Camp.
Dave! On the road again, huh? 3 cities this week. Meet Mary Hansen, sales director for Land.
Hi.
And Howard Johnson is the place the Road Warrior chooses when he gets ready for the road. Again and again. Howard Johnson, home of the Road Warriors.
Teach your team to play the right way with Major League Baseball's A Coaching Clinic. It's a great training video for coaches, dads, and moms, and a great learning video for individual players. To order your VHS copy, send check or money order for $19.95 to Major League Baseball, Box 88, Trenton, New Jersey, 08561. Or call 1-800-543-7800. New York and New Jersey residents add sales tax. The proceeding was furnished by Major League Baseball.
This telecast, presented by authority of Major League Baseball, may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of Major League Baseball. He is inconsolable. Donnell Nixon has been taken out. He's in the near corner of the dugout, and Pat Sheridan picks up in right field. Lloyd McClendon will hit against Craig Lefferts, and Nixon will try to figure out what went wrong. McClendon has been a good pinch hitter, 5 for 16 with a home run. 0-1. 2 on, 2 out, and a wild 8th, and the Giants holding on to a 5-4 lead. Wilkerson at second, the tying run. Dunston at first. They both run well. Now back. Craig Lefferts really came of age as a clutch relief pitcher in 1984. He came of age at the expense of the Chicago Cubs. He pitched exceptionally well for San Diego to beat the Cubs in the '84 playoffs, and then pitched very well in relief in the World Series against Detroit. That was his springboard. Now here he is 5 years later, going against the same Cubs. One ball and 1 strike to Lloyd McClendon. Ground foul behind Chuck Cartier, and they count 1-2.
An off-speed pitch, McClendon way out in front. Williams at third base is way off the line. Sometimes you have to pitch the way your defense is set up. As a pitcher, you've got to realize where your infielders are playing. You can see Williams off the line at third. Try not to give a hitter something that he can pull inside that third base bag.
Lefferts with a fastball, slider, and a screwball. And that's hit down the left field line, hooking foul and out of play. Every time a pitcher comes to San Francisco, you hear about Roger Craig teaching him to throw the split finger. But when Lefferts came to San Francisco, Roger taught him to throw the cut fastball. And that was the extra pitch he felt he needed. Curtis Wilkerson, the tying run at second. Sean Dunston at first. 2 out in the 8th. 1-2 the count to Lloyd McClendon. Screwball, and he wouldn't chase it, and the count 2-2. So the deuces are wild again. 2 on, 2 out, 2 balls, 2 strikes. 5-4 Giants. All 3. So that's a slight break for the Cubs. The runners will be going on the pitch. Will Clark gesturing to Uribe. So Clark, for the moment, the captain on the infield. Runners at the ready. Runners go. High fly ball to left field. It's playable, and Mitchell is there. No runs Williams, 2 hits and an error, 2 left, and it's still 5-4 Giants.
Until about 100 years ago, all beers used to be fire brewed, especially in Bavaria, where it seems every little village has a brewery. The most traditional ones still fire brew their beer. But as times changed, most breweries switched to steam, except for some of the smaller ones. And, of course, ourselves.
A beer that's not the same as other beers. Stroh's, fire-brewed, family-brewed, for more than 200 years.
The world thirsts for a car that is economical, yet fully equipped. Basic, yet polished. Practical, yet inspiring. Some may think such a car is only a mirage. It is. The award-winning Mitsubishi Mirage. Buy the special edition Mirage EXE and get air conditioning and AM/FM stereo cassette at no extra charge. Save over $1,000.
Hey, Mike, how's your first night?
Well,
Let me guess. You're hungry.
yeah, how did you know?
I've been doing this a long time.
There's one place where you'll always find a burger with your name on it. Burger King.
Yeah, I am Hans. Yeah, and I am Franz. And if you don't watch Saturday Night Live after the ball game, we will pummel this girly man, Rick Moranis. Yeah.
Giants lead 5-4 as we go to the bottom of the 8th.
A reminder, later tonight, following your local news, it's an all-new Saturday Night Live with Mick Moranis and musical guest Ricky Lee Jones. Tonight only on NBC. Will Clark and other Giants exulting over the turn of events that has seen the Giants come from behind and then dodge a big bullet in the top of the 8th inning.
Will Clark was all over Kevin Mitchell when he came in that dugout.
Paul Ossenmacher thinking about the base hit by Butler and his removal for Lancaster and the subsequent home run by Robbie Thompson. The changes, 2 changes for the Cubs. Curtis Wilkerson, who ran for Salazar, is at third. And Lloyd McClendon, who batted for Joe Girardi, is behind the plate. 0-1. Terry Kennedy walked intentionally, hit into a force play, grounded out, 0 for 2, hitting .250. Inside and outside, and the count 2-1. 5 runs, 8 hits, 3 errors for the Giants, 4 runs, 10 hits, no errors for the Cubs. Fouled away. Les Lancaster, who gave up that home run to Robbie Thompson in the 7th inning. 2-2. Fouled away again.
Down to the end of game 3, we still have not seen Matt Williams. It seems almost impossible that would happen. Granted, we had a couple of blowouts. Excuse me, Mitch Williams. There's Williams on the right, Paul Kilgus on the left.
Kennedy just fouling him away as Lancaster trying to keep the ball away, and the count 0-2. Williams has so much nervous energy, it's very hard for him to just stand around. In fact, people were shocked at Wrigley Field, Chicago. He was in the dressing room, fully suited up, 8 hours before the game. Strike 3 called. For Don Zimmer, it is a calculated gamble to use Lloyd McClendon behind the plate in a league championship game. McClendon has caught only 5 games all year. This is a tough time to break in a new pair of shoes.
Zimmer kind of forced to do it. Kennedy upset about the call. Turned, got a couple of words in, and then walked away. He knows that he needs 3 outs to win a ball game. He doesn't want to get the umpire behind home plate. Terry Tata upset at him because he's playing his cards. There's Kennedy. He wanted to bite his tongue there. He's very upset at the umpire about the strikeout pitch. And he's going to need an umpire who is not upset with him when he goes behind the plate.
Ken Oberkfell will be the batter for Craig Lefferts here in the 8th inning. Oberkfell has been a magician for the Giants. Oberkfell, coming off the bench, had 18 pinch hits this year. 0 for 2 in the league championship series, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. On deck, Jose Uribe. 1-1. Ball 2. If you're not keeping score and you'd like to look ahead, it would be Les Lancaster's spot to lead off, then Jerome Walton and Ryne Sandberg in the 9th inning.
To delay a game out there, there's been some sort of emergency vehicle that has come in from center field.
White background would really hurt the hitter. Fouled away. So they're moving it to make sure that the hitter is not trying to pick up a baseball.
There you can see the background. Nice and green, so hitters get a nice clear view of what the pitcher is throwing.
That sounded like a pitcher talking.
You noticed that, huh?
Fouled away down the left field line, out of play. So it's still 2-2 to Ken Oberkfell.
Remember the old days when they used to have the center field bleachers and the people out there in the white shirts and stuff? How in the world did the hitters do that?
Eddie Murray this year requested the Dodgers to keep certain seats empty in the bleachers, and they've been playing ball in there since 1962. 2-2. High fly ball. It's playable. Jerome Walton is calling. 2 down. So Oberkfell, a fly ball to center, and Jose Uribe the batter. And of course, we're not only kidding about it, because if you are at home plate trying to hit a baseball that's coming over 90 miles an hour, you need all the help you can get, and the least you can get is a good background. Here's Uribe, who had an infield single, flied to right. That's when Dawson made the tumbling catch and fouled out to Sandberg. So he's 1 for 3. 2 out, bottom of the 8th. Giants 5, Cubs 4. Up the middle, Sandberg backhands, off balance throw, got him easily. Nice play, and the Giants go quietly in the 8th. So they're coming up in the 9th. A hitter for Lancaster, Walton and Sandberg, with the Giants leading the Cubs 5-4.
There is a point at which all things must evolve. For small cars, that point is here. Introducing the Mazda Protege, a small car that's expansive in room, powerful, and born of Kansei engineering, so the way it feels will change the way you feel about small cars. The new Protege from Mazda.
It just feels right.
Get that guy a doctor.
Twice a year, your Goodyear retailer takes inventory, which means he must count every Goodyear high-performance, all-season, steel-belted, and light truck radial in stock. And twice a year, he reaches the same conclusion. It's better to sell them than it is to count them. So he's clearing them out with drastically reduced prices on hundreds of quality Goodyear radials during Goodyear's inventory clearance sale through October 14th at participating Goodyear retailers.
I can't believe it either, Marge, but it looks to me like they're gone.
You know, that sign wasn't up there for more than a couple, 3 days. And bingo.
According to next door, they got top dollar, too.
Really?
I've never seen a house move so fast. I've never seen a real estate outfit move so fast.
When it's time to sell your house, don't sell yourself short. Put the Rock of Real Estate Networks to work for you. The Prudential. You know us. We know real estate. For a market evaluation of your house, call the Prudential Real Estate office nearest you.
We go to the 9th inning at Candlestick, 5-4 Giants, and Steve Bedrosian against pinch hitter Mitch Webster. Ball one. Bedrock, as they call him, trying to hold on to the 5-4 lead in the 9th. Webster batting for Lancaster. Foul back. The Giants have used 5 pitchers: Lacoste, Brantley, Robinson, Lefferts, and now Bedrosian. The Cubs use Sutcliffe, Assenmacher, and Lancaster. So you had the best road club in the National League against the best home club in the National League, and the home club is leading. The bunt pushed to Williams. He'll shoot him down. One away. The executive producer of NBC Sports, Terry O'Neill, the coordinating producer of NBC's baseball coverage, and the producer of tonight's game, John J. Filippelli. Directed by Andy Rosenberg. Replay producer Tom Roy. Replay director Roy Alpers. Pregame produced by Les Dennis. Directed by Doug Grabert. Technical director Marilyn Altman. Facilities technical director Ken Harvey. 1 out, 9th inning, 5-4 San Francisco. Ball one to Jerome Walton. He is 0 for 3. Ball two. In fact, looking at Walton, he is 0 for 4. You remember he tried to bunt and hit that line drive bunt that was speared by Will Clark, who tried to double off Sutcliffe, and the ball got by Uribe. On the corner, 2-1.
Both Zimmer and Craig have had to use at least 3 pitchers in each of the ball games so far, going to their bullpen frequently. The thing is that Roger has managed it beautifully, ends up with Bedrosian here.
Ground ball to third. Matt Williams on that one. With 2 out in the 9th inning and Ryan Sandberg coming up. Let's go to Mike Schmidt for a final comment.
Well, Vinny, if I could be permitted a second guess here, I'd say the key to this ball game was when Sutcliffe was taken out. Not so much that he would have gotten the Giants out, but that Zim elected to start off the inning with Assenmacher at this point. A couple of right-handed hitters. Butler got the base hit. Rather than bringing Les Lancaster in and giving him a little freedom to pitch, they seem to continually bring in their best middle reliever with the heat on. Back to you.
So Don Zimmer has Ryan Sandberg trying to keep the door open. Sandberg is 1 for 3 with a scoring fly ball. Breaking ball in the dirt. Now remember when he got that scoring fly ball in the 7th inning, he had gotten breaking balls, and then Robinson gave him an 0-2 fastball, and Sandberg hit it deep enough to center to pick up Maddox in the 7th. We'll see if he gets a fastball from Bedrosian. And that's another hard cutter, and the count 1-1.
Ball up in the strike zone, but right at the hitting zone, broke away from Sandberg. You're going to make a mistake here. You got to make it away. You can't give him something on the inside half of the plate to pull.
1-1. 1-2. Another breaking ball. The chances are Sandberg will not see a fastball from Bedrosian. Been a great game. The Cubs led, the Giants led, the Cubs led again, and the Giants lead. Breaking ball. 62,065, and they are on their feet here at Candlestick. Two and two. Breaking ball. Ball three. Hard stuff. Down and away. On deck, Dwight Smith. Sandberg trying to keep the Cubs afloat. Ball four. All breaking balls. The Sandberg, who hit 30 home runs during the regular season, gets nothing but breaking balls out of the strike zone. And now it will be the rookie Dwight Smith coming up. Roger Craig, Norm Sherry, and Bob Lillis in the far corner of the Giant dugout.
Meetings going on in the dugout, meetings going on the mound. Clark and Kennedy both out to talk to Bedrosian. Remind him that Sandberg, good speed at first base. With Zim, you never know. There's a big hole between Clark and Thompson on the right side.
When Dwight Smith arrived here in San Francisco before his first big league game, he was greeted by flowers and congratulation balloons. The senders were Mr. and Mrs. Mark Grace. He hits a high fly ball to Kevin Mitchell. That's it. There'll be no flowers tonight for Dwight Smith, but there are high fives in San Francisco as the Giants go 2-1 by winning the first of 3 here. Robinson the winner, Lancaster the loser. The big home run by Robbie Thompson. A save to Bedrosian, and we'll be back.
With little to do between the end of the last...
Back with the starting lineups for Game 4 right after this. 1969.
The defense behind Scotty Garrett's exactly the same defense that was behind him in Game 1 in Wrigley Field. Jerome Walton, Kevin Mitchell, Butler, and Sheridan in the outfield. Williams, Uribe, Thompson, Clark on the infield. Terry Kennedy does the pitching. 3 games so far in this series. There have been but 4 errors, so defensively it has been a decently played game.
Off speed, and that missed the outside corner. Check swing. 1 ball and no strikes.
Jim Quick, the umpire, behind the plate tonight. And on the very first pitch, you can see Scotty Garrett's trying to establish his curveball. It's a thing he was not able to do in Game number 1 in Chicago.
2 balls and no strikes.
He struggled early in Chicago. And the reason he just could not get his breaking ball over, he's been very effective at the end of the season for San Francisco. Throws hard. He will throw in the mid-90s, and when he gets his breaking ball over, he's tough.
Popped it up on the right side, Robbie Thompson.
The sun a little bit more factor here in this game number 4 than it has been the first game here in San Francisco. You see the sun in right field. In the game last night, just about game time, the shadow was almost all the way to the fence in right field. There's the outfielder's view of what it looks like from center field. And the shadows that you can see last night, they were almost all the way back to the warning track.
Here's Ryne Sandberg in the first inning at Wrigley Field with 1 out. Sandberg doubled, and with 2 out, Mark Grace homered as the Cubs tried to come back after the Giants had scored 3 for Garrett's. Breaking ball missed, ball 1, 1-0. Sandberg has hit in all 8 league championship games that he has played in, going back to 1984. Good breaking ball on the corner, 1-1.
We're talking about Ryne Sandberg loving to hit the fastball, and you can see his reaction, how he genuflects on that curveball. He does not like to swing at the curveball. He has not had a decent swing against the curveball the entire series. There it is.
And another one.
Another one. Boy, it's just as obvious as it can be, isn't it?
1-2 the count to Ryne Sandberg.
Here's Sandberg's stance. You can see the curveball and how he shies away from the ball. And that can mean a couple of things. Gurels could really have a dandy.
2 balls and 2 strikes. The count to Ryne Sandberg. 1 out in the first inning. We're just starting. So pull up a chair for game 4. The Cubs down 2 games to 1 and playing in the Lions' Den here at Candlestick. Breaking ball hit in the air to left field. Going out is Uribe. Down the line is Mitchell, and it's going to land because Mitchell never got a jump on the ball. If anything, started to go back. On this powder blue sky, Mitchell had no idea how hard that ball was hit. And you never see a shortstop go that far down the line unless the left fielder is completely out of the play. Down the line unless the left fielder is completely out of the play. So Sandberg gets a gift double to left.
I think you're exactly right, Vinny. I don't think there's any way that Kevin Mitchell saw that ball initially, and then by the time he got there, he knew that Jose Uribe was certainly in the area, didn't want to run over the top of him. It could have been the Uribe was calling him off, knowing that he wasn't going to get there. I don't think he saw it off the bat.
So Dwight Smith now trying to take advantage of it. Ryne Sandberg has been the first inning spark plug. Fastball whacked into right field, base hit. Here comes Sheridan's throw, and they're going to hold Sandberg on a great throw by Pat Sheridan. With Mark Grace coming up, Chuck Kettier coaching at third also wisely opted to stop Sandberg because Grace swings a very big bat against Scott Gurels.
Dwight Smith, Mike, like many young hitters, first ball fastball hitter. There you see the aggressiveness of Pat Sheridan getting to the ball. That's what really held Sandberg at third. Cartier saw how quickly Sheridan was getting to the ball. The ball hit very sharply to him. Decided to hold him at third with Grace coming up.
Grace 7 for 10 against Gurels, including a home run. And in the first game, went 3 for 3 with a home run against Scotty Gurels. And you may remember one of the great single at-bats in this series when Scotty Gurels and Mark Grace went head-to-head for 12 pitches. 2-0.
And as they have done, they're pitching him away, playing him away. Kevin Mitchell way over in left field. Butler on the left field side in center field. If Grace is going to hit it out, he's going to have to hit it out to left field. That's generally what you can tell by looking at the outfield defense.
Down and away, 3-0 the count to Mark Grace. And on deck, Andre Dawson. Dawson with 1 hit last night, and it came in the first inning to drive in 2 runs. And he's waiting for a chance to come up with a full plate. 3-0. And they let him swing, line to right. Sheridan for the catch. Sandberg is coming to throw. He scores. Close play. Terry Kennedy unable to hold on to a great throw by Pat Sheridan. Take another look.
Just a slight double clutch by Sheridan. A good throw. He just didn't quite get a handle on it on the first go into the glove. And a good slide by Sandberg right underneath Kennedy at home plate. This is not an easy play for Sheridan. A very tough right field, sun field. You can see Sandberg coming down the line to go right underneath him, right into the bag. A good call by Jim Quick at home plate. Even if he had held on to the ball, I believe he would have been safe at home plate. But that was an excellent play by Sheridan right field.
Remember, they let Mark Grace swing 3 balls and no strikes. The Giants appealing, claiming that Sandberg had left third too soon, but it was disallowed. Dwight Smith, who was unable to take second on the throw to the plate that held Sandberg, unable to take second on the throw to the plate on the ball hit by Grace. So here's Dawson. Foul back, 0-1. 1-0 in favor of Chicago as the Cubs continue to pile up first inning runs. You can see Kennedy trying to block with the left shin guard. but he couldn't keep him out of there. The Cubs have now scored 11 runs in the first inning in the 4 games. 0-1 to Dawson.
The step off to check to see if Smith is going to do anything at first, and maybe he is giving anything away. You would think Zim would do something here. He has been aggressive the entire series when he's been able to. Time called. Yeah, Zim has put on the running place. He's put on hit and run. He has put on the steal. He tried to do as much to utilize the team speed that he has to put any pressure that he can on the Giants.
0-1 to Andre Dawson. And that gets away from Kennedy. Smith finally picks up the side and moves down to second base. Remember, the big problem was the fly ball to left field on which Kevin Mitchell had no jump, never saw the ball, and by the time he picked it up, it was a gift double. Otherwise, the inning should be over. But it's 1-0 Chicago with a chance to get some more. And Roger Craig now coming out in front of his dugout, gesturing to plate umpire Jim Quick.
Roger questioning something. I don't know exactly what it is. Maybe a count? Not sure exactly what the count.
To right field. Sheridan squinting up into that sun on the track to pick it off. For the Cubs, 1 run, 2 hits, 1 left, and we're underway at Candlestick Park. First inning, the Giants with Butler, Thompson, and Clark, Mitchell, Williams, and Kennedy, Sheridan, Uribe, and Gurelt, and Greg Maddux staked to a 1-0 lead, ready to go in the bottom of the first inning. The 19-game winner who lost game 1 to Gurelt and the Giants. Ball 1 to Brett Butler. Butler 3 for 12, has scored 4 times in the series. Always a threat to bunt. And again, Salazar and Grace have to shorten up at the corners. 1-1. Last night, we saw 2 pitchers get in a lot of trouble because they couldn't make the defensive play. Mike Lacoste and Rick Sutcliffe. Maddux is a very good fielder. Good breaking ball, 1-2. 4 times this year, Maddux was knocked out of a game very early. And his second game following that bad start, he pitched pretty well. And in 2 of those 4, he pitched very well. We'll see what all that means tonight. Curveball hit to the right side to Sandberg. 1 away.
Maddux is pitching on 3 days rest, remember, from game number 1 in Wrigley Field in Chicago, but he threw just 89 pitches. He was extremely nervous in that game number 1. He's 23 years old, very difficult to handle the first taste of postseason pressure, and he really felt it.
Last night's hero, Robbie Thompson, who hit that 2-run home run against Les Lancaster. Fastball for a strike. Remember, going in, the Cubs' strategy was to keep the top 2 hitters in the Giant lineup off the bases. It is very obvious in the 2 games the Giants have won, the top 2 hitters have been on the bases. The game they lost, they were shut down.
We have a little ground crew problem, it looks like, down the third base line.
Couple of heavyweights visiting, going after that ball.
Knocking fences down.
Watch this. I mean, there's a little Aberdupois leaning over that railing. Golly.
I tell you, Filippelli and Rosenberg, they get every shot and every replay, don't they?
0-2 to Robbie Thompson. That's about a 5 on the Richter scale. Fastball, 1-2. You joined us late. A fly ball lost by Kevin Mitchell for a double, a single by Dwight Smith, and a scoring fly ball by Mark Grace. And the Cubs have taken a 1-0 lead. Waiting on deck, Will Clark. 2 balls, 2 strikes. 3-2.
It'll be interesting to see what happens here. Robbie Thompson, dead fastball hitter. He runs the count to 3-2. What are you going to throw him? Go back with another breaking ball or the fastball?
Fastball missed. Well, it is a bull market, this Pacific Stock Exchange, and here's the first of the 2 horns. Will Clark and Kevin Mitchell back to back. Boy, you talk about a left hook and a right cross. And Clark bangs it to center. Base hit. Thompson is going to go to third. Walden's throw cut off by Dunston.
The beautiful swing of Will Clark going right up the middle. Not a bad pitch, down and away. There's nothing that he can do with that other than a single, and that's all that he tries to take. And that's why Will Clark hit 333. Another hitter would try to pull that ball and hit a ground ball on the right side. You see Thompson coming all the way around. Bill Fahey telling him to get down. Boy, another typical first inning of a National League Championship Series, the way it's been every game so far.
So Will Clark at first, Robbie Thompson at third, 1 out, and Kevin Mitchell at the plate. Cubs leading 1-0. Fastball for a strike, 0-1. Where the Cubs have scored 11 runs in their first innings, the Giants have scored 6 in their first prior to tonight. Mitchell during the year had 7 scoring fly balls. Missed the corner, 1-1.
Maddox's first 2 pitches trying to stay away from Kevin Mitchell. The worst thing that you want is the 3-run home run in this situation. You might give up a run for an out if you can. There's the slow-mo with the pitch, and the pitch outside caught by Rona. Trying not to give something to Kevin Mitchell down and in where he can extend those arms. Tremendous power. If you let him extend from the middle of the plate in, down in the hitting zone.
Fake to third, a look at first. Mitchell has had this kind of a year. He's been intentionally walked in the first inning. He's been intentionally walked representing the winning run on base in the 9th inning. He was intentionally walked 3 times in 1 game. 1 ball, 1 strike. Fastball chopped to third. The play is to second, a double clutch by Salazar. He didn't get the ball out of his glove right away, and they lost the double play because of it, and we have a 1-1 tie.
Mitchell does not run extremely well, and in order for the Cubs to be able to get the double play on a ball that was chopped, there's really no margin for error because the ball was hit in a choppy fashion down to third base, and just the double clutch by Salazar prevented the double play.
Matt Williams a strike, and the count 0-1. Will Clark, who bruised his knee in a collision with Dodger catcher Mike Scioscia near the end of the year, and that knee and shin area has been bothering him ever since, and obviously hurting him yet again. 0-1. On the fists, hit down to Grace, a busted bat, the out at first, and the fence is down again off third. So they got a ball, now they were dodging a bat. And this ain't bad for the first inning, huh? A 1-1 tie. Pick up the double play, and you tell me whether that's not interference. And you can see immediately Sandberg pointing, saying, hey, he interfered with me. Well, Clark has paid a price as he limps back to the dugout, but he also saved a run for the Giants. And we have a 1-1 tie in the second inning.
Judgment call on the umpires. They fixed the wall down that outside the Chicago Cub dugout. The umpire at second base, Randy Marsh, a judgment call in that sense was Will Clark trying to interfere with Sandberg, or was he trying to get a knee out of his face? Like Doug Harvey said yesterday in a couple of calls that we had in the game, it's really something that has to be made immediately, and that's how the decision stands, because it is strictly not an interpretation of the rule, but a judgment call from the umpire.
It was such a wild first inning. Here's the broken bat on the pitch to Matt Williams. A huge sliver will go flying over to the VIP seats. Grace quietly goes about his business and steps on the bag. But like Jericho, the walls come tumbling down yet again. Man overboard. Boy, I tell you, there's some heavyweights over there knocking that wall down and having a good time about it, too. Second inning, Luis Salazar in a 1-1 tie. Salazar, Dunston, and Rona in that order. Salazar hitting .364. He's had a good series. Fouled right into Kennedy. Boy, that shook him up. 2-1. I guess it was the great Mo Berg who once referred to them as the tools of ignorance, the badge of courage as well. 2-1. Fastball hit to straightaway center. Butler going back, away back to the track, to the wall. It is gone. Home run, Salazar. Remember, Scotty Garrelts in the first game uncharacteristically gave up home runs to Grace and Sandberg. Now he gives one up to Salazar, and it's 2-1 Chicago.
Now, there have been 23 extra base hits in this series. I asked Elliot Kalb, our Mr. Stats up here in the booth, to do some homework for us.
Oh, the fans
they threw it back. There have been 23 extra base hits in this series, and there's only been one extra base hit of the 10 home runs when the hitter has been behind in the count. Every other time, as we take another look at Salazar, hit that ball a long way to center field. Every other time we have had an extra base hit, meaning a home run, triple, or a double, the hitters have been ahead in the count, or at least even 3-2. One of the things that has occurred in this series is that the pitchers have continually been behind. I talked to Dick Pohl, the pitching coach for the Chicago Cubs. I saw him before the game. I said, what's up? He said, high fastballs, and they've been up the entire series.
0-1 the count to Sean Dunston. 2-1 Chicago, second inning. 1 ball, 1 strike. I remember years ago going to Japan, and the Japanese fan would always return the foul balls, and people were always amazed at that. That takes care of Dunston. Now in Japan, the fans have learned to keep the foul balls, but suddenly with the rivalry between Chicago and San Francisco, if the opposition hits one out, you throw it back in. And the batter will be Rick Rona. Rona caught Maddox in the first game and had a tough at-bats against Garrelts, striking out twice. 0-1. One of those at-bats you may remember came in the second inning after Salazar tripled. Dunston struck out, and then Rona struck out, and they wound up leaving Salazar. At the time, that would have tied up game 1. 0-2, the count to Rona. Greg Maddux on deck. So Gureltz has struck him out 3 times.
Here you see the slow-mo of the curveball. You can see the fingers coming over the top of the ball and how it tumbles away. Kennedy set up outside, having protect against 2 strikes. Good pitch right in the corner. There's no way that you can really do much with it. The best shot you have is trying to foul it off.
1 ball and no strikes to Greg Maddux. Greg, a good hitter during the regular year. A chopper to the left of Uribe. That'll be that. 1 run, 1 hit, 1 swing by Luis Salazar, and it's 2-1 Chicago. And to start it off, breaking ball away. Walden popped up to the right side, 0 for 1. Remember, earlier this year he had a 30-game hitting streak, and the Cubs are hoping he'll catch fire. He drives one to left field. Mitchell going back on the track at the wall to pick it off. Long out to left, 1 away.
The difference in the 2 ballparks, this ball hit by Walton in Wrigley Field in Chicago, if the wind's blowing out just a little bit, you can call it a home run. You can see the flags in center field, straight down, just a 2-mile-an-hour plus blowing around on the inside of this ballpark. It is absolutely gorgeous in San Francisco.
Ryne Sandberg with a fly ball lost by Mitchell and dropped for a double. Big breaking ball, and he couldn't hold up. So Sandberg has hit in all 9 league championship games in which he has played. Dwight Smith on deck. 1-1.
I think Roger Craig has seen Ryne Sandberg get enough fastballs in the strike zone. 2 curveballs here, lots of curveballs his first time up. Or else is going to feed him a lot of breaking balls.
There's another one, and that's in there. 1-2. Scotty Gureltz was on the disabled list for the Giants for 2 weeks in July with a strained left hamstring. He hurt it while running out a triple against the Cubs. And the breaking ball got him swinging. So Sandberg doesn't look like the same hitter. 1 breaking ball after another.
Well, the key, of course, is getting the breaking ball over. Being able to throw it for a strike where you can keep throwing the breaking ball. What's been happening in this game as we see the slow-mo, the fingers, see the fingers just on the side, and the ball breaking away from Sandberg, a big differential in speed. The curveball about 80 miles an hour. Gureltz throws a fastball in the low 90s.
For good measure, he throws a split finger as a change. And he's working now on Dwight Smith away. 2 balls and no strikes. Smith, a sharp single to right field in the first inning. Hit it so hard, Sandberg could only go to third. 3-0.
What's been happening a lot in this series is the hitter's been getting behind. You see the scouting report, not a good breaking ball hitter. Like many young hitters, a good fastball hitter will want to hit against the fastball early in the count because they don't want to go deep into the count and have to swing against the breaking ball.
Big at-bat for him with 2 out and Grace on deck, and he has won the battle. And anytime he can give Mark Grace a chance to swing the bat against Scott Gureltz, that's a successful at-bat for Dwight Smith. So the 2-out walk gives Grace yet another chance. Mark hit that line drive at Pat Sheridan in the first inning and picked up the RBI barely as Sandberg was able to just beat Sheridan's throw and the drop tag by Terry Kennedy. So Grace is still 7 for 10 against Scotty Gureltz. With 2 out, it's a question of what Zimmer wants. Does he want to keep Will Clark on the bag, or does he want to turn Dwight Smith loose? Smitty stole 9 during the regular year. Short lead. Scott Garrelts, the National League earned run average leader. Cubs leading 2-1 in the third. And there he goes. The pitch is a strike. The throw not in time. Backed up by Uribe. So Zimmer obviously would rather have Smith in scoring position than just lead the hole on the right side.
One of the things Zim said that he was going to do in Chicago right before game number 1 was run against Terry Kennedy. A tough pitch to throw on. Terry kind of came around the side.
Here's an interesting point now. You know all about how Grace wears out Garrelts. Yet Andre Dawson is not hitting on deck. Are you even going to bother to pitch to him?
Right-hander to right-hander from the on-deck circle. A ball and a strike that count. Free pass. Go to first base so I know right where you are.
Well, they're pitching to him. That breaking ball stayed up. 1 ball, 1 strike. Grace hitting .727. Breaking ball punched on the ground to Uribe, who sets for the throw. High throw. Coming to the plate is Smith. The throw. He is out. Will Clark does it again.
Uribe had plenty of time. Just a high throw. Will Clark does it every time. He comes up looking and has the expectations.
Brett Butler and Robbie Thompson. That's a strike to Garrelts, who has to be feeling very chipper about things, even though he's losing. The Giants got away twice. First, they pitched to Grace, hitting over 700. Then, Uribe makes an error, and they still get out of the inning. Ground ball to Dunston. Cranks it up. 1 away.
Here's a look at that double play ball. The third out of the inning, Uribe makes the high throw to third. If nothing else, an example of how many ways that Will Clark can beat you. Heads up all the time. It's the third time that we have seen him do this in the series. Come down and reflect. He threw to third in Chicago. He threw home to Kennedy before in Chicago, and he blocked the plate, and here he does it again. He beat you with his bat. He beat you with his arm. He beat you with his head. Always anticipating what might be the next play.
1 ball and no strikes to Brett Butler. So Will Clark figuring prominently in the Giants story all year long, and the main character right now. Fastball at the knees, 1-1. Cubs 2 runs, 3 hits. Giants 1 run, 1 hit, and 1 error charged to Uribe. Salazar on the grass. Grace has shortened up, looking bunt. Full swing, off the glove of Maddox. Off balance throw. Great save by Mark Grace. He threw it away, and that ball would have wound up down in the Giant bullpen, and Grace made a big save. So Butler's at first. He would easily have been at second.
One of the little subtleties of the game of baseball is the size and dimensions of your ballpark. Maddox is a good athlete. Still trying to get the out. Butler runs extremely well. Now, Grace does not get that ball. Remember, this ballpark, see how much room there is over behind first base, over to the wall. Look, the spaciousness of this ballpark. That ball will go all the way over to where the tarpaulin is. Butler would easily had second, possibly third.
Here's Robbie Thompson with 1 out. Salazar, you would think if you just arrived in the game, it's about the 7th inning. He is so close to the bag. 2-1 Cubs, bottom of the third. Butler, 31 stolen bases during the regular year, and Maddox very conscious of that. Butler has not tried to steal a base so far. In fact, the Giants have 1 stolen base, and it was Uribe. 1 ball, no strikes. On deck, and I'm sure if you're a Cub pitcher, you think he is always on deck, is Will Clark. Down to Grace, not in time. And the count 2 balls and no strikes to Robbie Thompson.
One of the things in this series that has been so evident is the pitchers, when they've been getting behind, here we have a 2-0 count to Thompson. They get behind, they don't make a quality pitch. We've seen a lot of high, mediocre, aimed fastballs right about the letters to hitters when we're in the 2-0, 3-1 count. 3-2 count. There have been a lot of high pitches up in the hitting zone, not up above the strike zone, but right in the good part of the hitting zone. Pitchers have not been trying to make quality pitches. They've just been throwing pitches in those situations.
2-0 to Robbie Thompson, who walked in the first inning and came around to score the giant run. There goes Butler. Ground ball, foul outside of third, and the count 2-1.
He did it last night when the count got to 2-0 for Robbie Thompson. He hit the ball out of the ballpark. Roger Craig, you look at Robbie Thompson, who has over 130 strikeouts. Bill Fahey, you're going to put it on again or not?
Isn't that interesting? Les Lancaster didn't know the correct count last night.
Thought the count was 3-0, threw the pitch 2-0. What Roger Craig tries to do is put Robbie Thompson in a situation where he thinks he's going to get a fastball. That's when he'll put the hit and run on.
Butler doesn't go, and it's fouled away. 2-2.
I've heard that happen before. Obviously, when pitchers will lose or forget what the count is, you play the game, it's going to happen to you somewhere along the line. I've never seen it happen with the kind of consequence that Lancaster had it last night. He thought the count was 3-0. The count, in fact, was 2-0. Bingo, a high nothing fastball, and won a ball game for the Giants.
2-2. Fastball got him looking on the outside corner.
A lot of strikeouts for the man in the number 2 position. Over 130 strikeouts on the season. He's been hitting in a pretty good situation here. He's been ahead in a lot of the counts in the series. That a perfect pitch by Maddox right on the corner.
We talked about Maddox being a fine fielder and how Lacoste and Sutcliffe were hurt because they couldn't make a play. He should have made the play on the ball hit by Butler and didn't. Now let's see if it costs him, because he has to look at the extra man, Will Clark. Off speed, ball 1. Clark hit a bullet to center for a base hit in the first inning.
Clark he has that unusual setup with the weight all on his back foot, and then he strides in. When he goes to swinging, that right foot is only about 6 inches from the front plate. 4 to 6 inches. That right foot will go right toward the plate.
2-0.
He's one of the few young hitters that when he gets in the batting cage, people kind of stop what they're doing and take a look and see what his style is like, what he moves, where his hands go, where his hips go, where his feet go. Tremendous acceleration, bat speed when it gets to the hitting zone.
And he goes the other way, chasing it in the corner is Smith. It's against the fence. On his way to third is Butler, and they'll hold him. Dunston was the relay man, and was he ever ready to pull the trigger? But again, Maddox unable to handle that ball by Butler, and now he's in trouble with Kevin Mitchell coming up, and runners at second and third. Big moment now. It is 2-1 Cubs in the third. 2 out, and the first answer is they're going to put him on. They will walk Kevin Mitchell, and in a minute, Matt Williams will be the batter. Second walk given up by Greg Maddox. He's allowed 3 hits. But again, it's a case of a good fielding pitcher who might very well have handled the comebacker by Butler, didn't do it, gives the Giants the extra opportunity, and the good ball club that they are, they're taking advantage of it, and now they have the bases loaded. Matt Williams coming up has 3 grand slams in his young career. Last year, he got everyone's attention he hit a grand slam against Nolan Ryan. This year, he hit a grand slam against Cincinnati and a grand slam against the Dodgers, and it's standing room only on the base paths and in the stands. It's going to be hit to center. That's a base hit. One run is in. Clark is coming to score. Giants 3, Cubs 2, and the batter is Terry Kennedy. Foul ball. Foul ball. So Matt Williams looped one into center. It wasn't one of those line drives. That's why Sandberg came up with it. Sandberg, not thinking that Clark might be an easy out. Remember, Clark's got that bad leg. And Sandberg threw over to Salazar. Had Sandberg turned and perhaps thrown to the plate, they might have gotten Clark. High fly ball to center. Back goes Walton. Away back. He's got it. What a catch. So Maddox couldn't handle the ball, but Jerome Walton does. And in between, the Giants score 2 and take the lead. Wall timing his leap and getting Maddox out of a desperate situation. Terry Kennedy hit that as hard as he could, and you can see his frustration.
He had 21 home runs one year in San Diego. 5
Grays. Mark takes it to the bag, so 1 pitch and 1 away in the 4th inning. In case you weren't with us, in the 3rd inning, Dwight Smith walked, stole second, tried to score from second when Grays hit a ground ball to Uribe, who made a high throw to Will Clark. Clark whirled, fired to the plate, and Smith was out trying to beat Will's throw. And that's when he hurt his leg, we believe, and they had to have a tape. The batter now Uribe, who grounded out in the 2nd inning. One's foul. It's still Giants 3, Cubs 2, bottom of the 4th inning. The Cubs last night left 5 men in the first 5 innings. They wound up leaving 8, and they came up a buck short, even though they out-hit the Giants. Joe Girardi behind the plate for Rick Rona. 1 out in the 4th. On the corner, 0-2. Uribe followed by Scott Garrelts.
I think Greg Maddux was so nervous in game number 1, he just never could establish a release point. His left side was so active and so strong, he seemed to be throwing the ball a little bit from 8 different kinds of places. One time he'd be on top, and the next time his elbow would be down, he'd be pulling left. It is so easy to do and such a fine thing to establish every time.
1-2. Line drive down the line. Fair ball. Uribe on his way for 2. They'll hold him there.
One of the best pieces of advice I ever got was never let a number 8 hitter get a base hit off of you. Right in front of the pitcher, it gives the opposing manager something to do with the number 9 spot. The number 8 hitter is in that position because he normally is not a good offensive player. Uribe during the season hitting just .221. I had a veteran pitcher tell me, he says, you bury that number 8 place hitter.
Scott Garrelts trying to advance him, fouls it away. 0-1.
A lot of times a manager will have a sign for his hitters. Let's get him to third base any play you want to. The thing about getting Uribe to third in this situation, albeit it might be with 2 outs, remember Butler, the bunt potential with a runner at third. If it's a lot of pressure on Salazar at third base, if Garrelts can get Uribe down there.
0-1 to Scott Garrelts. Uribe at second, 1 away. A bird dog play by Dunston. The throw hits the runner, and Uribe is going to go to third. It'll be an error charge to Greg Maddux.
It looked like they had a shot at him if he'd have made a little bit quicker throw, and certainly an accurate throw. John Dunston tried to do a good decoy job. The ball just did not stay clear enough or did not bounce far enough into the outfield for Jerome Walton to get there. Uribe really didn't know where the ball was at first, and you could see Dunston trying to decoy him. The Cubs now have to play in.
We were talking before about Scotty Garrelts, and they're checking no swing in the count, 1-1. So there is now pressure on Greg Maddux. Runner at third, 1 away. Check swing, no, it never touched the bat, and here comes the run.
Boy, if you're sitting in the Chicago Cub dugout and you're the manager or the pitching coach, you really feel like you've just seen a case of highway robbery. Your number 8 hitter hitting the double and scoring without even getting an out.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Maddux had committed 5 wild pitches during the year. Zimmer and his pitching coach Dick Pohl beside themselves now as the Giants take a 4-2 lead. And Pohl going to the phone. Steve Wilson was up earlier, and he'll probably want Wilson to get up again. And now he walks Garrelts. That's about as bad an inning as a 19-game winner could ever have. Give up a double to the number 8 hitter, try to pick him off and advance him to third.
In time, I think Zim and Dick Pohl are really upset, and I don't blame them. I mean, this is the second trip. Salazar made the first trip over there, and now the catcher goes out.
For young Greg Maddux, 23 years old, a 19-game winner this Butler. 2 Giants. Right. 0-1. For the Cubs to show you the feelings in their dugout. Another bad outing for Greg Maddux, and yet if they stay alive and go to the 7th game, they'll probably give him the ball.
I don't think there's any question that he would get the ball. What he has done for Don Zimmer and Dick Pohl the last 2 years. Greg Maddux is pitcher number in game number 7 if it goes 7, no question.
0-2 the count to Brett Butler. So you had the classic confrontation here, the best home team in the league against the 0-2 the count. Every time Butler has had 2 strikes in the series, he's gone the other way, and Wilson dared him and came in on the knuckles. Fahey now perhaps hanging out a sign. Scott Sanderson throwing down on the Chicago bullpen. 1-2 to Butler. Grounded out and single. Big sidearm curveball to take care of him. 2 down.
Wilson was relieved in game number 1. He came in and he was really trying to spot the ball, goosing the ball up there, trying to aim it. He wasn't aggressive at all. Here he comes out of the bullpen. Remember, he gave up the home run to Kevin Mitchell in Wrigley Field. Here he came out and went strike 1, strike 2 against Brett Butler, a left-hander. Before Mitchell's home run, he had walked Will Clark. Much more aggressive tonight.
On the corner for a strike. 0-1. Of course, in all honesty, you would be more aggressive against Brett Butler than you would be against Kevin Mitchell. Butler with 4 home runs, Mitchell with 300,000.
The mistake that he made was pitching so carefully to the left-hander Will Clark with Mitchell behind him. I mean, he had a left-hander coming in to see the left-hander. That's the guy you got to get out. You have to get out Will Clark if you're left-handed and not have to pitch to Kevin Mitchell.
Robbie Thompson has walked and struck out, scored a run in the first inning. Fastball popped in the air back of first in foul ground. Grace trying to get under it and makes a swipe at it and catches it. What a fine play by Mark Grace. Tough to see the ball against that light sky. He was running out of territory, took one look at the VIP seats and made the play. We'll be back after these messages from your local station. Two Giants, we go to the... And it'll be Jerome Walden, Ryne Sandberg, and then Dwight Smith. So the Cubs got a run in the first inning, but the Giants got it back. Cubs got a run in the second. The Giants came up with 2 in the third, and a big gift in the fourth, and lead 4-2. Ball 1. Jerome Walden popped up, fly deep to left. Cubs have lost the momentum, so Garrelt's job is to keep it that way. And Walden trying to start it up, and he immediately singles. That's a big at-bat for him. So Walden, a line drive single to center, and that'll bring up Ryne Sandberg.
A lot of things that are impressive in this series. The number 3 and 4 and 5 hitters for both clubs, with the exception of Dawson, who has been struggling, but really the number 1 and 2 guys on both teams, Walton and Sandberg, and on the other side of the coin, Butler and Robbie Thompson. They're having terrific series themselves. Tough to find from an offensive standpoint somebody who's not having a decent series.
Ryne Sandberg, a fly ball double that was lost by Kevin Mitchell, and then struck out in the third inning on all breaking balls. And we'll see what they do, first worrying about Walden. Walden stole 24 out of 31. Chuck Cartier taking a look in at his skipper. And Sandberg waiting, hitting .462. And starts him breaking ball, and you could see Sandberg kind of arch his back. He quit on the pitch in the count 0-1.
He don't like it at all.
No.
Not at all.
I don't think I've ever seen him act the way he's acting on one breaking ball after another.
He just may not pick up the rotation. Obviously, you can see that left leg give. You can see him arch his back.
0-1. And remember, this is a 6-time All-Star, a fellow who has hit at least once safely in every league championship game, and he really had to bail out and quit on that curveball.
Every curveball he's thrown has been right in the right spot, too, right down and away in the blown away corner.
He pops it up.
He hung that one and missed it.
And it'll be Uribe right there. I wonder if we have that hanging curve, because not every hanging curve is hit out of the ballpark. There are some that hang and are outs, and here's one.
You take a look at it. This is the one that a hitter will go back to the dugout and say, oh, would I like to have this one back. Here you can see the ball out of Garrelt's hands. Remember the other one down by Kennedy's right shin guard? That'll show you what a difference in that pitch is. Oh, Ryne Sandberg would say, I'd like to have just a couple of dozen of those.
So Dwight Smith at the plate. Remember, he's had his leg taped. Single to right and walk. Walden at first, one away. Clark on the bag, and Robbie Thompson shading way off to his right. On the outside corner for a strike. 0-1. Smith last night went the other way 3 times. He went to left field, once a base hit. Prior to that, he had a double to right and a couple of shots in game 1 at Matt Williams. So you get the idea that he uses the ballpark. He will go after it wherever you pitch him. He's not necessarily a pull hitter. And then in the first inning, he got a ball he could turn on and rifled a single to right field.
Well, how many times can you go to the minor leagues and find two youngsters, one to come up and hit and lead off, and one third?
He goes the other way, but Mitchell is there to pick it off. 2 down, and the batter will be Mark Grace. And every time Grace comes up against Scott Gereltz, you have yourself a major confrontation, and Terry Kennedy is going out to the mound to talk to Gereltz.
So he's going to make contact. The Giants have been trying to make him put it into play to left field.
And he promptly bangs it into right center for a base hit. It gets by Sheridan, and Walden is around third. He will score. Grace is on his way to third, and Robbie Thompson will run it back to the infield. Pat Sheridan tried to backhand it on the dead run and came up with a glove full of empty, and the Cubs now are the tying run 90 feet away. It'll be a triple.
One of the things you have to do from a pitching standpoint is pitch the way that your defense is set up. Here they throw the breaking ball, a pitch that Grace can pull. Butler in center field all the way around in left center. That ball really dead in the alley. Sheridan tried to cut it off, knowing that Smith has excellent speed. But that's a case of the pitcher really crossing the defense up.
Andre Dawson now asked to pick up the tying run. Kelly Downs is up again in the Giant bullpen. Mark Grace against Gereltz is 11 for 16 as he just tripled. And there's a drive into right center, and the ball game is all tied up. That's going to go to the fence, and the Hawk goes flying into second base in a 4-4 tie. So Jerome Walden singled, and 2 outs later, Grace triples and Dawson doubles.
Dawson got a pitch up and out over the plate last night against Lacoste and hit it just about the same spot. Here Gereltz leaves the pitch up in the middle of the plate. Dawson just drives it in. You know who's the happiest person in the ballpark? Greg Maddux, sitting in the clubhouse inside and knowing he's off the hook. Mentally, it's just a big relief. Certainly didn't want to go back to Chicago, knowing he is 0-2. He is dead off the hook.
So the tying run brought in by Mark Grace on the double by Andre Dawson. And here is Luis Salazar. He has a home run and a single as he tries to put the Cubs out in front again. 4-4 in the 5th. Ball 1. Mark Grace, by hitting that triple, has 8 RBIs in the series and has hit for the cycle in the series, and Roger Craig might have had enough. No strike count, misses with his first pitch. So the count now 2 balls and no strikes to Luis Salazar. Dawson at second, 2 out. 4-4 tie in the 5th. Fastball, and it's in there. Show you what the Cubs had to do. They had to chase Scott Gereltz, the leading earned run average leader in the National League. He was 10-2 at Candlestick Park this year. His earned run average here was 1.5. Change, and he got it on the outside corner. 2-2.
Boy, he gave that away, didn't he?
Really?
You started calling that before it was halfway to the plate. The old hitter and you came out.
The old hitter's right.
Right on the perfect spot. You can see the split finger, and that one an off-speed splitter. But boy, perfect spot. He really slowed his arm down on that one.
2-2. Fastball hit down the right field line, foul and out of play. The deuce is wild on Luis Salazar. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, 2 in, and a runner at second in a 4-4 tie. Gereltz is still the pitcher of record, but only to either lose or have nothing to do with it. It's up to Downs. Breaking ball fouled away. That was a pretty good piece of hitting because that pitch really ran away from Salazar. And with 2 strikes, he just went down after it. Fouled it away.
Good experience to stay alive. He hits it foul. We talked about Salazar, a veteran who knows how to play the game of baseball. Now, that is a nasty pitch. That is the mark of a good hitter who can foul it off and wait for a pitch that he can handle.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Sidearm snake that's hit to the right side to Robbie Thompson, and that's the out in the inning. But the Cubs get off the floor. Garrelts is off the hook, and we have a 4-4 tie. The Giant lineup, and Steve Wilson ready to go. Clark has singled and doubled and goes to left field. It's slicing, and it's going to land up in front of a sore-legged Dwight Smith, who can't make the play, and Clark is into second. And Smith was limping noticeably going after that ball. They need his bat, but that bad leg, we believe he hurt it in the 3rd inning, is really going to hurt the Cubs defensively.
Clark now 3 for 3 in the ball game. Definitely hurt by Smith's sore leg. He was playing extremely deep. Now remember, Clark's got a bad leg at second base, and it looked from a hitting standpoint, he is simply trying to hit the ball to left field.
A check swing and a shallow fly ball, and Smith will catch it, bad leg or no. Kevin Mitchell checking his swing. It's a fly ball to Smith. 1 down.
Not a very good at bat for Kevin Mitchell. He's sitting against a left-hander. First pitch, you really got to let it go. You can't check swing and make it out on that if you're a hitter like Kevin Mitchell. Certainly it's going to happen.
Salazar is asking Dwight Smith, can you play? I told you he has really been a one-legged man out there this inning. And Salazar is now gesturing to the dugout as if to say, I don't think he can play out there in left field. Zimmer's hollering Mac. And I think Dwight Smith is going to come out. They are calling him in. He doesn't want to come in. But after watching him go after that ball that Will Clark hit, I'm surprised they even allowed him to stay out there when Mitchell came out. So Lloyd McClendon will take over for him. And remember, Marvell Wynn has already been used as a pinch hitter. So they lose a big bat as Dwight Smith hurt his leg in the 3rd inning trying to score from second on a ground ball and has to come out. There you can see Salazar saying, are you okay? And then finally, after doing that, he gestured to the dugout. He can't play.
You want to get Smith out of there so you don't lose him for any longer than just a half a game.
And they are wig-wagging to McClendon to play Williams over more towards the foul line and deeper. So Dwight Smith gone out with that bad hamstring. Scott Sanderson throwing in the Cub bullpen. Matt Williams grounded out and singled. His single with the bases loaded drove in 2 and put the Giants in front in the 3rd inning. Fouled away, 0-1. With Dwight Smith hurt, you realize that suddenly Zimmer cannot get into any extended card playing with Roger Craig. He started Rona, and he hit Wynn for Rona. Then Girardi took over behind the plate. So Wynn is gone. Now Dwight Smith is gone. McClendon, who is basically a 3rd-string catcher and finished up last night's game, is in left field. And that could hurt as the game progresses. 0-1 the count to Matt Williams. And that's in there. Are you a little surprised that they're pitching to Williams? You have the left-hand hitting Terry Kennedy and Pat Sheridan due up next.
We've seen a lot of unusual moves in this entire series. We've seen a couple of intentional base on balls in the 1st inning of one of the games. We've seen both managers sometimes just simply managing by hunches.
0-2. Inside to crowd him. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Now you can see Girardi gesturing that he's going to go over the signs again. He gave him that big circular motion. Clark at second, but he's not 100%. He's got a sore leg. Trying to keep that ball inside. Doesn't want Matt Williams to extend the arms where all that power comes from.
Don't know if both those pitches are simply set-up pitches, and he might want to get them away with an off-speed pitch away. Williams would be looking for middle in here. A fastball. He's a fastball hitter. He'll be looking fastball.
He got it and fouled it away. Gary Kennedy on deck. 4-4 tie. Cubs 4 runs, 8 hits. Giants 4 runs, 6 hits. And like last night, a seesaw ball game. 2-2. And Wilson wants Girardi to go over the signs again. On the hands, foul back. He challenged him. Came right in after him, and Williams fouled it off.
Williams, the last couple of months of the season, is more productive than either Mitchell or Clark. Big, strong right-handed hitter. You can see how he likes to extend his arms. Chicago basically trying to pitch him hard stuff in on his hands, hard in, soft away.
2-2. Clark at second, representing a tie-breaking run. Way inside. Boy, he is staying right on top of him, all with hard stuff. And the count 3-2.
One thing that Dick Pohl has talked about is not getting enough of those pitches. That ball is not really that far inside. It's running in on him. Now Williams jumps to get away from it, but they have not established hard in off of the plate in this entire series. Boy, if you want to control the outside part of the plate, you got to show another hitter that you will pop him in off the plate inside.
3-2. And it's hit foul. It was off speed. He took a lot off that pitch. And Matt Williams was so far out in front, he cued the ball into the stands off third base. So after brute strength, suddenly finesse.
He struck me out.
I'll tell you what.
I'll tell you what, 3-2, I'm looking fastball away.
Whew, what a
good pitch by Wilson.
I should say so.
You know, for a young pitcher to have that much confidence in that pitch, 3-2. But with first base open, a left-hander on base. If you miss, so what? You go to first base.
Fastball fouled away.
Well, that's exactly what he's doing. Soft away and hard in. It's really a perfect situation from a pitching standpoint where you're really not at a disadvantage if you use first base to your advantage. Runner at second. Nobody at first. Kennedy on the on-deck circle. A good double play man. Remember, Kennedy does not run well. So this is the one situation we talked about, how counts have turned in hitters' favors throughout the series, yet with the open base, the count going to 3-2, Wilson is really in a situation where he can throw any pitch that he wants because he's not really hurt with a base on balls.
This is his 10th pitch to Matt Williams. 3-2. Ground ball foul. Boy, did he turn on that fastball. Whoa. Still 3-2.
One thing that every young catcher and every young pitcher should come to realize is, where does a hitter make contact with your fastball? Now look where the bat head is on this fastball. Way out front. That's not a changeup that he hit that there. Remember the changeup that he was way out front, that he hit high, left, and foul? Williams is getting the fastball out in front of the hitting zone.
3-2. This is the 11th pitch. Fouled away. Do you remember the other night in Chicago? You had that magnificent at-bat where Mark Grace was up there for 12 pitches. Now Matt Williams is up there for his 12th pitch with Will Clark at second, 1 out in the 5th in a 4-4 tie. Steve Wilson came to the Cubs from the Texas Rangers. And again, he wants Girardi to go over the sign.
This is a great at-bat. A great at-bat.
3-2. Line down the left field line in the corner. Gone. Home run. They are cheering in San Francisco, but you know what they're doing in Chicago. They're saying, why did he pitch to him? With one out, a runner at second, and Terry Kennedy, a double play threat coming up. They challenged Williams and paid for it. It is 6-4 San Francisco.
2 pitches before in the entire sequence, he proved that he could get the bat head out on the fastball, and that's exactly what he hit.
Side armor takes care of Kennedy, but that's much too late. That's amazing. That is really amazing.
I'm amazed at the pitch.
I'm amazed that he pitched to him. Now here comes Pat Sheridan, and the horse is way down the road. Ball 1. 1-0 to Sheridan, who has grounded out twice. Giants 6. They have matched the Cubs 2 here in the 5th inning. Another strike. When the Cubs come up in the 6th, they have Dunston, Girardi, and Wilson spot. Two and one. I remember listening to a couple of scouts from other teams in the National League talking about Matt Williams. And one of them said something we should all remember. He said, I'm afraid he's going to be as good as I think he can be. Matt Williams. 2-2. Little foul out of play.
Talking about scouts, Ron Schuler, the Oakland A's scout, right down below us. Congratulations to the Oakland A's, who were winners today. Tony La Russa has Schuler working already, has been here through this series watching these two clubs play. He puts the scouting reports together for Tony and his coaching staff. One of the things that Tony talked about, there's Matt Williams, the happy young home run he had.
3-2 the count to Pat Sheridan. It's been a wild game. Each side scored a run in the first. Cubs got a run in the second. Giants with 2 in the third took the lead. Added to it in the fourth to lead 4-2. Cubs tied it. Giants have come back to take the lead. A fly ball to left center. Walton is there to make the catch, but it comes up 2 outs too late. Matt Williams had his moment and made the most of it. Giants 6, Cubs 4.
Sequence of pitches from Steve Wilson. The first pitch, a fastball inside for a strike. Fastball away for a strike. The pitches on the right side part of the plate from then on generally off-speed pitches. Fastballs inside. Williams would be on the left side of your screen. Remember how he was popping him on the inside? Look how everything is pretty much on the corner. whole sequence of pitches, and then all of a sudden, bingo, right in the middle of the plate. Fastball right down Broadway, and a 2-run home run.
There's a looper over the head of Clark and lands just fair. Dunston holding at first, and a good save by Robbie Thompson. And so the Cubs try to come back. And one thing we have learned tonight, we know why the Giants have the best home record. And we also know why the Cubs have the best road record. Neither one will back off. And we still have a long way to go.
What a play by Robbie Thompson. You see him hustling on that ball? There's Matt Williams with a great play, great hustle on the ball hit by Dunston to prevent him from going to second. Great play by Thompson.
Time called. And there's a few words. Sean Dunston and Will Clark. That's the first time we've had any semblance of disagreement between the two teams. After all, with Roger Craig and Don Zimmer so close, it appeared to have spread to the teams. But now, suddenly, something was said, and Dunston was furious. Zimmer saying, what happened? Tell me.
It probably stems from remember the play at second base when Clark went into second? Sandberg turned around and looked at, and said, told the umpire, look at Clark. He was pushing up in the air, interfering at second base. That might have been what it's about. There's two very competitive individuals. They'll be left alone over there, too, if they can clean house.
Dunston is furious. Will Clark trying to quiet him down earlier in the game, and it had to be unintentional. Remember, Will Clark unintentionally stepped on Dunston's hand. Now, let's see. I wonder if we have Dunston going down the line at the bag. I know we were watching that fine play by Robbie Thompson, but you wonder if something happened as Dunston was approaching the bag. Jose Martinez trying to calm Dunston down, but he is furious.
He's arguing with everybody. He's arguing with the umpire, his own coach, arguing, look at Clark. Clark is still in there. And Zim trying to make amends here. You don't want to lose your shortstop.
You know, things were so nice between these teams when the Giants were at Wrigley Field. Don Zimmer's wife, Sue, passed out orange and black corsages to all of the Giant players' wives. I mean, this really was the friendship games. And suddenly there, a little emotion, and apparently it's by the boards.
Maybe a misunderstanding about something. They became friends again all of a sudden. Boy, you don't know if it's the end of it, though. You can see the vein in Clark's neck popping out.
This was when Clark inadvertently stepped on Dunston's hand, but I'm sure this has nothing to do with it.
Totally unintentional.
Yeah.
Just an accident.
I'm just wondering if maybe they bumped at the bag as all eyes were riveted on Robbie Thompson making that smothering save. All right, the tying run is at the plate in Joe Girardi. Giants 6, Cubs 4. Curtis Wilkerson is on deck to hit for Steve Wilson. Girardi got into the game because Wynn batted for Rick Rona. And this will be Girardi's first at-bat. 6-4 Giants, top of the 6th. There's nothing to be learned or gained from that because we were trying to get something whether they had bumped each other. But apparently it was just a few words said, one to the other.
A good job by Jose Martinez, the coach at first, to jump in there and save his shortstop. Doesn't want him thrown out of the game. Martinez jumped right in front of Dunston, said, let's cool it. Back off here.
6 runs, 7 hits for the Giants, 4 runs, 9 hits for the Cubs. And he goes on a hit-and-run ground ball to Uribe, who goes to Clark for the out. So Dunston at second with 1 away, and Curtis Wilkerson coming up. Here's Dunston. Watch now. Round first. Stops. Sees Thompson smother. Goes back to the bag. Clark wasn't anywhere near him. The old story, you had to be there. Curtis Wilkerson, a switch hitter, and the second pinch hitter used by Don Zimmer. He has one left-hand hitter available, and that's a switch hitter, Mitch Webster. 1 ball and no strikes to Curtis. Jeff Brandley begins to warm up back at Downs in the Giant bullpen. Popped in the air back a third, and that's where Mitchell hanging out. 2 down. The batter will be the leadoff man, Jerome Walden. There'll be a meeting at the mound about Walden. Give us a chance. You ever heard of this? I was reading about Matt Williams when he was at the University of Nevada in Las Vegas. He was fielding ground balls with a ping pong paddle. The idea being to give you soft hands to make you have some rhythm fielding ground balls. You ever heard of that?
Never heard of that. That's a new one for me.
Neither had I. And that didn't come up. It's going to be a base hit. That ball landed like a poached egg in front of Kelly Downs and just splattered. And it's an infield single for Jerome Walden.
Both of yesterday's starting pitchers were commenting on the bunt place that they had to field around the mound, how everything was so soft, not necessarily wet, but soft. This is a very high and thick infield grass in San Francisco, very thick in the outfield as well. There was no life in the ball. Remember yesterday, Lacoste did not field the bunt play with runners at first and second. He would have had Salazar easily, but the ball just never came up.
Now you have Ryne Sandberg with the tying runs aboard. And you figured, and he got it. Breaking ball. Sandberg, pop fly double, lost by Mitchell in the first inning. Struck out and popped up. 1 for 3. So you have Dunston at third, Walton at first. So speed at the corners with 2 out. Ball 2, 2-0.
Sandberg is not going to swing at that breaking ball unless he has to. And to make Kelly Downs prove that he can throw it for a strike. He hasn't been able to get it over to him yet.
Gave him 2 sliders for the moment, and the count 2-0. And now Kennedy out to talk to him.
Might be a little discussion of what kind of pitch we're going to throw here. Kennedy may have thrown.
2 balls, no strikes. And that's going to be hit into left field, falling in a hurry, and Mitchell makes a rolling catch. Near the Chicago Cub dugout. Schmitty?
Vinny, it was not a real big deal. You know, in the heat of battle, sometimes when you're doing as well as Will Clark has been and the Cubs are battling, you kind of should keep your mouth shut. I think Will said, in fact, I know Will said to Sean, come on, swing the bat. And Sean construed that as a cutting comment and jumped on Will real quick. I don't think Will meant anything by it, but there's so much tension down here that things like that can get out of hand, and that's exactly what happened. I don't think it was any more than that.
Okay. Candlestick. Lloyd McClendon will start it off. Remember, he had to take over in left field for Dwight Smith.
Put it in there.
Nolan, are you still throwing outside?
She's right. Try low and inside.
For everyone who has ever dreamed,
The preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball.
Terry Kennedy over for Terry Kennedy, who went out for Donnell Nixon as a runner. It'll be Webster, Walden, and Sandberg. And an error in the 9th, and eventually won it in the 11th on a double by Les Lancaster. You can bet both the Giants and the Cubs remember that comeback. Ball 1. Webster, a switch hitter, batting left-handed. Matt Williams plays him on the grass. Clark shortens up at first. Fly ball to left field. Kevin Mitchell is there. 1 down. The executive producer of NBC Sports, Terry O'Neill, the coordinating producer of NBC's baseball coverage, producer of tonight's game, John J. Filippelli, directed by Andy Rosenberg, replay producers Tom Roy, replay director Roy Alpers, technical director Mike Stremiski, and a low bow from the waist to Elliot Kalb up here in the booth with us. Jerome Walden popped up, flied to left, singled to center, and singled out in front of the plate. So he's 2 for 4. Hard slider, 0-1. Fly ball to Sheridan. And the Cubs now are down to their last out. They will be down 3 games to 1. And they will go up against Big Daddy, the former Cub, Rick Russell, tomorrow. And all the pressure then, especially in this madhouse called Candlestick, all the pressure will be on Mike Vielecki. Here's Ryne Sandberg. Doubled, struck out, popped up, and robbed of a key hit in the 6th inning on a diving, rolling catch by Kevin Mitchell. Strike. And it's hit into right field, base hit. So the Cubs refuse to go quietly, and Sandberg singles to right, and Lloyd McClendon will be the batter. Norm Sherry has already checked in the bullpen where Greg Lefferts and Steve Bedrosian are, but Lefferts has been throwing, and no doubt Lefferts is getting ready for one man, Mark Grace.
This entire game is really showing what the mettle of these 2 clubs is all about. Neither one of them have given up. A great 2-out base hit by Sandberg there. They have come back from deficits and hard times all year. They have shown great character.
Small consolation to the Cubs. They have out-hit the Giants last night and again tonight. Well, that's not a payoff window. Slider missed. 1-0 to Lloyd McClendon. He had to take over in left field for Dwight Smith, who hurt his leg, and Lloyd finishing up behind the plate. And Mike Vielecki thinks about tomorrow, no matter all the noise tonight. Ball 2. On deck, Mark Grace. The biggest crowd ever to see a game at Candlestick now sees Roger Craig make his way to the mound. 2-0, the count to McClendon. Francisco, and standing between them, Lloyd McClendon and the Cubs. Now remember, Bedrosian has inherited a 2-ball, no-strike count. And that's going to be a flare into right center, and Thompson can't catch it. On his way to third is Sandberg, and the Cubs are still alive.
Boy, a tough decision for Roger Craig at this point. Runners at first and third. The signs behind the head mean no doubles now. We want no doubles. Here you see Thompson in the glove and just out. Great effort by Thompson. The defense in this situation do not want to give up a double. I think you remember that Bedrosian led the National League relief pitchers with number of home runs given up, 12.
First and third, 2 out in the 9th. Fastball away, ball 1.
You can see how deep the outfield is. Mitchell very deep in left, Butler in center. The double, of course, to prevent the tying run, which is at first base.
1 ball and no strikes. Grace with a triple and a scoring fly ball. Away, ball 2. And on deck, Andre Dawson. It looked as if Leverage had to be getting ready for Grace, but when Downs fell behind to McClendon, Craig's hand was forced. 2-0. Ball 3. Now 1 pitch away from loading him up, and Kelly Downs sweating it out in the Giant dugout. Luis Salazar and company, hoping that they can repeat the miracle of the 20th of July. 3-0. In there. 3-1 to Mark Grace.
Harvey taking 1 pitch. Take the 3-0, maybe get the tying run to second. He'll be swinging here.
And he walked in to load the bases for Andre Dawson. The tying run, Lloyd McClendon in scoring position at second. Holding at third is Sandberg. Grace at first, and here's the Hawk. We were saying it at the start of the game. There isn't that much to separate these two teams. 1 run last night. They split the 12. They split the first 2 in the LCS. Giants win 5-4 last night, and now turn back the clock 2 years ago. You have the Cy Young winner, Steve Bedrosian, on the mound, and the most valuable player at the plate. But that was 2 years ago. Breaking ball away, ball 1. So Bedrosian has given up a bloop single and a walk, and the Cubs still above water. Boy, that was it. That was reducing the game to the fundamentals. I'll throw it as hard as I can, and you swing as hard as you can. No finesse here.
Boy, that is fastball right down Broadway. Andre Dawson's just swinging right through it.
1-1. Breaking ball. And again, they're on their feet at Candlestick. Half swing, got him. No one escapes it. The years take their toll on everybody. The winning pitcher, Kelly Downs. The losing pitcher, Steve Wilson. The hero, Matt Williams. Remember tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern, for Game 5 with the Cubs against the wall. Mike Valecki and Rick Russell. Stay tuned for local news, except on the West Coast and Mountain Time Zone. They'll be seen at their regular time. Baton Seaver, Vin Scully, good night from San Francisco.